Just where the houses are? Just where the house?
Want to call to order the February 12th meeting, special meeting of the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District. Madam Secretary, we have roll call. Please note that all present except Commissioner Shake Snyder. I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, we thank you for this great parish that we live in. We thank you for the opportunity to serve. We ask that you grant us the wisdom and grant us the unity to work together as one public servant serving the people of Ascension Parish. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right now, I just asked for public comment period. If anyone wishes to speak on a topic, please sign in with the secretary and you will be allowed 3 minutes. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 4, intergovernmental agreement between East Ascension Drainage and Parish of Ascension.
I'd like to offer a motion that we go into intergovernmental agreement with East Ascension Drainage and the Parish of Ascension.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes, sir, Mr. Valentine.
I guess I'm looking for the agreement.
That's what I would like to have. You have agreement that,
Is this,
here.
I mean, is this it right here?
yes, this is
It's
the
attached.
agreement, the one that was sent out to you in a package.
It should be attached, Councilman. And all was sent out with the packets last Thursday. I think.
Right. I would like for clarity that if you want, we could have the agreement read. I think it's a short agreement. If, Madam
have,
Counsel,
Legal counsel or?
would you like to read that?
That's not a problem. The intergovernmental agreement, be it known that on the below-mentioned date, before the undersigned competent witnesses and notary public, this contract is entered into by and between the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District, hereinafter represented by its chairman, Randy Cloture, as duly authorized by a resolution of the Drainage Board adopted this date, hereinafter referred to as EACGDD, and the Ascension Parish Council, herein represented by its chairman, Pat Bell, with the approval of the president of the Parish of Ascension, hereinafter referred to as the parish. This agreement shall be binding on the parties hereto and their heirs and assigns. Number 1, purpose. To establish an operating agreement between the Parish of Ascension and the East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District. Number 2, background. The East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District was created as a political subdivision of the state of Louisiana with the rights, power, and authority to incur debt and issue negotiable interest-bearing coupon bonds in the manner provided by law for the purpose of constructing gravity drainage works and further having power to open all natural drains in the district, cut and open new drains, and such other work of drainage as it deems necessary, and further, full power and authority to enter into contracts for the construction of drainage works and construction of such drainage works under its own supervision or with the aid and assistance of any governmental or state agency, and further, full power and authorities to do any and all things necessary and incidental to the carrying out of the purposes of said district, and the tax proceeds used by the East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District are to be used solely for the purpose or purposes set out in the proposition approved by the electors at the election, authorizing the tax funding the Consolidated Gravity Drainage District as stated in Louisiana Revised Statute 332738.60. The Parish of Ascension is governed by a home rule charter form of government with a duly elected parish president with full powers to oversee the day-to-day operations and administration of the parish government. The East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District does not have independent facilities to house its equipment and operations, nor an independently employed management staff. The parish has both the facilities and the management staff to accommodate the EACGDD's needs. Number 3, obligations of the parties. EACGDD does hereby grant unto the office of the parish president, its heirs, successors, and assigns the exclusive right to administer the maintenance of, operation of, repair of, and provision for drainage for the parish of Ascension and any and all appurtenances pertaining thereto. EACGDD does hereby grant unto the parish of Ascension, through the office of the parish president, the complete right to use servitude rights, including but not limited to the right to construct, maintain, inspect, operate, repair, alter, remove, and relay the drainage system in ditches and canals using East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District equipment and apparatuses as may be necessary and convenient for such operations, together with all rights of ingress and egress to and from said drainage systems, ponds, ditches, canals, etc., for the purposes for which East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District was created, subject to the advice and consent of the East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District. EACGDD does hereby agree that the drainage manager will be nominated for appointment by the parish president to the East Ascension Drainage Board, and that once ratified, the drainage manager shall be appointed by the parish president and report to the chief administrative officer. EACGDD agrees that the drainage district staff will function as a department of parish government and that the manager of EACGDD and all employees thereof will comply with all policies and procedures of the parish government in accordance with the Home Rule Charter. The parish agrees that drainage personnel and equipment will only be used for drainage purposes. EACGDD further agrees that the parish president has the exclusive right to administer the maintenance, operations, repair, and provision of drainage for the parish of Ascension. Number 3, duration of contract and termination. This agreement will be in effect from the date of execution and shall renew automatically each year. Either party may also terminate this agreement by giving the other party 60 days written notice. Number 4, no assignment. This contract between the Parish of Ascension and the EACGDD is strictly personal between the parties, and neither party may assign interest in this agreement to a third party without prior written consent from the other party. Number 5, indemnification. EACGDD agrees to defend, indemnify, save and hold the parish harmless from and against any and all claims, demands, expense, and liability arising out of injury or death to any person or the damage, loss, or destruction of any property which may occur or in any way grow out of any negligent act, error, or omission of EACGDD, its agents, servants, and employees, and any and all costs, expense, and or attorney's fees incurred by parish as a result of such claim, demands, and or causes of action. That's the end.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would just like to note that within this agreement that we have an implementation strategy that's conduct a co-sponsored 90-day operational audit for DPW and drainage operations, develop a plan for improved accountability and service delivery. The action plan is to include financial firewalls for operating and capital funds, defined process for personal and equipment accountability, determine building and space needs for DPW and drainage, develop, coordinate strategy for capital improvements, and also conduct a 45-day review of the drainage capital program to provide recommended implementation of the program. I would like to offer, if you have any comments, Mr. Rue. I know you're sick, sir.
I know.
Thank you for coming.
No, we've been meeting, I've been meeting with the parish president and the chief administrative officer for the last few weeks, and I have determined through those meetings that this is the best route to go with the parish president. While I enjoyed my role as the drainage manager with sole responsibility of running the drainage department over the last 2 years, I think that because drainage is such a big part of the activities in Ascension Parish, and now I can go back and when I was over DPW and drainage works and all of public works, drainage department for us, your activities and your complaints and just your workload is about 75% of your total public works activities. So again, it is a major part of the activities in Ascension Parish. And it is ingrained into parish government because that's the way it was set up. I think if we were going to separate, it should have been done back in 1994. Most parishes in the state of Louisiana either do it one way or the other. Totally separated with an independent commission running the drainage board, or the governing body of the parish is the governing body of the district. That's the standard way of operating drainage district in Louisiana. What we have here is what we've been termed lately as a hybrid. It's something that's not ordinarily done, and I think it's problematic. It could work either way, but again, going back to my comments about it being such ingrained into the activities of the parish and a big part of the parish, I think that it really should be under the parish government. And actually, I go a step further. I think ultimately it should be the governing body of the parish should be the governing body of the district, and that the drainage district actually should be a department under parish government, with the parish president having the same type of rights as any other major activities in the parish, be it road or drainage or wastewater or anything else. So again, I put a lot of thought into it over the last few weeks, and I determined that this is the best route to go right now. So,
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask Parish Administration, Cedric, or President Martinez. Cedric, you've put a lot of work into it with Mr. Root to reviewing and looking at everything.
Yes, I have, Councilman. We've worked very closely together here in the last few weeks to get to the bottom of this on many fronts. And certainly also what I want to say is I've been listening very much to the community and you as individual drainage board members on your issues. And what I continually heard was accountability. And I agree wholeheartedly that there's a need for greater accountability. And what we have put forward here in relation to our management plan and implementation strategy speaks directly to that. There was a great deal of comments about the separation of funds and the like. And I think that the financial systems that are needed do not currently exist within parish government. And based on my recommendation to you to do this operational audit, I think we can create those firewalls. There are systems in place that certainly offer that opportunity. Just yesterday, unfortunately, Bill wasn't able to come because he was ill, but we had our first major task force meeting with the cartograph people in the electronic work order system, and they showed us exactly how this can be done within our work order management. So we feel confident that within this year's time, we will be able to give you that accountability that you're seeking here for the right and proper use of these funds. Past that, I would say I would agree with Bill. I have had extensive experience in the other venue where it's totally separate, and it can be quite confusing and quite difficult to manage and coordinate infrastructure management in a coordinated way. So I think we've offered you the best management solution. We plan to produce results here. This is something that can be managed and monitored monthly, and we suggest to you that we will be prepared to do that. So with that, I would say to you that what you have here is the best recommendations administration in coordination with the drainage operation.
Thank you, sir. And want to say that we respect both of you guys. You're both professionals hired to do a job. You're not elected officials. And we're going to try the best to just keep the politics away from your job, let you do a professional job and come forward to us with what you think is best to move forward with.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yes, sir, Mr. Valentine.
Back to the prior question.
Yes.
With this being the agreement, I guess one of the major questions I have is, and you kind of addressed some, Mr. Kluat, and I'm not sure if that's what you read. Is that something you and Mr. Cedric got together and decided? I mean, my question months ago was, what strategies were we going to put into place to make sure that we didn't go back to the way we used to operate the situation?
You understand that.
Okay.
And that's
that's some of the strategies. So is that your strategies, or is that Mr. Cedric's strategies? That's coming from the administration?
Some of my strategies, but it's mostly Mr. Roos' strategies and Mr. Cedric Grant's strategies. So.
Okay. I'm not real happy with the process the way it went through, because we had opportunities to do things we didn't for whatever reasons, hurricanes, whatever we want to blame it on. Miscommunications at meetings where we didn't get to discuss because some councilmen say that was told that they couldn't be there. Be that as it is, we simply gathered here tonight and made a motion because now all parties are in agreement. I'm not still in agreement. I'm not going to be a person that's just going to, get out there on a limb and saw the limb off, because guys, we got to get along, and I know that. But you also have to respect my opinion and respect the fact that I got elected just like you guys get elected to debate and to debate issues. And we still hadn't been shown one real reason why this change was offered. And, if it's not broke, we don't fix it. I mean, I understand what Mr. Cedric said. I don't know if he's heard the public, because from the public, I haven't heard any of the public say it needs to go back under administration. Most of the public says it needs to stay just like it is, because we are getting the best bang for our buck. I guess my question is, because I have it, I know Mr. Cedric had prepared a PowerPoint. I did get a copy of it. I didn't get a chance to go by and discuss it with him. Mr. Martinez made reference, Parish President, you made reference to $1,100,000, something that's the departments. I had asked for something from Ms. Gwynn, and essentially I got that. It wasn't exactly what I was asking for, but I understand. But that's what you project that costs the parish to essentially do business with the Drainage Board. And in this agreement, nothing is spelled out. We passed an agreement, Chairman, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Last Drainage Board, we had to put it into effect, but we put the 4% back into effect.
Yes.
And primarily, that's all we put into effect, 4%. So
Administrative fees.
administrative fees,
Administrative
which is allowed by law, which I pointed out that night with a revised statute 1236, 35A, and I'm going to give this to council so she can have this. But that's the law that stipulates that you can charge 4%. Period. And what it says that indirect expenses, direct expenses shall not exceed the actual cost, up to 4%. Doesn't say anything above that. So I want to make sure that council has this copy of this, because I want her to research this. And so if we spend any more than 4% of the actual Drainage Board budget, then we in violation of the law. And so, I'll place that to you, Ms. Tony, I'll give that to you. That's one of the things I'm concerned about. Yes, we can put firewalls in place. Yes, we can have accountability. The fact of the matter is, what we're doing is we're giving away our legislative right. That's what we're doing. You know, what we're doing is allowing it to go to administration, and they're going to make the decisions for us. They're going to come to us, sure they will, but essentially you're taking it from a gentleman that you appointed, that was not elected, and giving it to a parish president who is elected. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be a bad thing, but at the present time, I don't want to relinquish that situation. And so, with that, I'll relinquish the floor, Chairman, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lewis.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Rue and Mr. Grant and all of my fellow councilmen. I mean, I know we've spent hours, weeks discussing this, put a lot of effort into research in this, and I think this plan and this intergovernmental agreement is the right thing. I think it's been a lot of hard work to get here. But these firewalls, these controls that we're going to put in place with the different systems, that really address and can address a lot of the concerns that folks have had, which are valid about making sure drainage money is only spent for drainage. So we can fix that. We can make sure that never happens again. But at the same time, bringing it back will allow us to look at the big picture, as Mr. Roos said. These service areas belong together, and I think the comment about legislation being a legislative body, we're actually, if you think about it, we're operating as a police jury when we're operating as the drainage board, and having administration as a partner at the table. We're not giving up control. I think it's just it's another partner to provide some checks and balances, and to gain some expertise, and also to gain some efficiencies. And so I think this plan is the right course of action for the parish and for the citizens, and that's why I'm going to support it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We have a speaker. Ms. Goffin.
Thank you, Chairman Kluot. Who should be the drainage manager? It appears from the agenda that you have decided without any public discussion of the facts. There really has been no discussion, Mr. Lohr. The facts do not support your decision to make the parish president manager of drainage. That's why you haven't had any discussion. You are willing to sacrifice professionalism, efficiency, accountability, and jeopardize projects and service to the public just to please the parish president. But this comes as no surprise. This is not a business decision. If you wanted to make a business decision, you would separate completely from the parish. Hard figures from companies that would provide administrative services show that you could save almost $500,000 in administrative costs. Here's a comparison. These are not my figures. I didn't make them up. These came from drainage and from the administration. If you'll note here, the total cost under parish now is $560, but we're adding $219,500 for a total of the $779,500. That's what you're paying now. A total separation would be $297,000, which is $482,500 less than what you're paying now. And Mr. Martinez is saying that this is what it costs him, over $1 million. He wants $391,000 more. Remember that salaries were increased by $3 million this last year, and economic times are tough. Returning the reins to the parish president is not a business decision. I hope I haven't confused you with the facts. This is a political decision. Claims of duplication of services, lack of cooperation, or need of oversight are really bogus. You have never documented once these statements and claims. Mr. Rue, we'll keep working, but drainage will not operate the same. This is a step backwards. By signing the agreement, you will settle for less professionalism, less efficiency, less accountability, and less services to the public. By signing the agreement with the parish, you will spend more on administrative costs. How much more, I don't know. By signing this agreement, you will certainly get more politics injected into the process. Now, President Martinez campaigned to put drainage back under the parish president. This may be a feather in his cap. His past performance, if history repeats itself, will not put a feather in your cap. He wants control of the money, and he has the votes to do so. It's that simple. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I got one question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lambert, Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Cedric, when we sat in the little meeting that we had with you on this, you did state that there would be no percent of salaries broke down in percentage going,
No, sir, I'm trying to
because
do direct.
in the past, we had like maybe 40% was road and bridge, 60% was
Right.
drainage, so we're not gonna have any of
No,
that.
sir, my goal is to go to direct expense.
Okay.
You
I
basically
think- And we'll still be in that guideline of the 4%.
Yes, sir.
If that's law, we got to abide by it.
Sir,
And that's the
and-
big thing, we definitely want to be legal with this if we
Well,
make
let
this
me
transition.
speak to that directly. This is why I'm proposing an operational audit. We have to get to the bottom of this, okay? And I'll be the first to tell you, if whatever way it is, once we get a third-party audit, what the costs really are. I mean, I took my best estimate, and some of them were very good, some of them were, you know, I think I would have liked a little bit more time to work on it, but I'm here to tell you, I honestly believe that it's probably somewhere more than the 4% that's actually being spent. But rather than this back and forth, I'm telling you, we got to do an operational audit to get to the bottom of it. We take this thing apart and put it back together.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I'm fixing to say, there's people that come forward to this board and make allegations that we have no proof. No one shows proof that our president or our councilman or anyone campaigned for what happened tonight. Mr. Rue, I think you said what your statement is. I don't think anyone campaigned to you. I don't think the president campaigned to any councilman. Not to my knowledge. It certainly didn't happen to me. So we have to listen to a small minority come with allegations without proof, and I'm getting tired of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Mr. Cullen.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bill for his honesty coming forward and telling what he really thinks about it. And I also like to say that I don't know about y'all, but I only got 4 complaints, and they were the same 4 people that been complaining the whole time. So
Thank you.
that's the only complaints I ever had.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Ju-
Valentine.
Just one question, Mr. Cedric. You sparked my interest. You said operation, Mr. Parish President, either one. You want an operation, or you plan on doing an operational audit?
That's what
You
I
want to
proposed.
explain that to me?
Yes, sir. I
that
proposed
means?
an operational audit in the implementation strategy, what that is a detailed review of all operations, and what I'm proposing is a DPW drainage operational audit. So we can clearly define who's doing what, how they're doing it, where the money's being spent, how we can put the firewalls in place, where the personnel and the equipment go. This is not a small task, but it is an absolutely necessary task in the discussion I've been a part of.
Okay. And I guess I understand where you're going. Who's going to do this audit?
I am going
You're
to
gonna
bring
do
to
it?
you an RFP for independent selection of a third-party independent auditor.
Okay. I would suggest that we get a ruling or get an Attorney General's opinion on my question first before you go through all that exercise. Well, you can do it the same way. It doesn't matter. But what I'm proposing, what I think, if I read this legislative act here right, doesn't really matter what our operating, whether we're spending more or not. You can't charge more than 4% because this is a dedicated tax. I could be wrong. I'm just taking a pot shot here, okay?
Councilman,
But as I read it, and since we talked about this the other day, you know, we had some questions of whether 4% was enough and what have you. This law was made for a reason. And I think the reason it was made for, because there are dedicated taxes that get dipped into time and time again.
Yes.
And dedicated taxes are intended for one thing, and that's what it's dedicated for.
and I would,
But the law allows 4%. And I just wanted this to be looked at and make sure that we're on the right track.
Well, Councilman, I can
So
assure you.
you're not talking legislative audit, you're talking an audit just to break down who's doing what, which is primarily what we ought to know anyway, but that's beside the point. Okay, that just clarifies it, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion?
On that,
Mr. Rue.
on that subject, Councilman, I think part of the thing that we've been talking about is setting a guidelines and setting a formula to, on how we, because there are some things that we'll have to separate the cost on. You know, to build the shop, some of the equipment, the air compressor in the shop, the generator, and stuff like this. Some manpower also. We will have to separate the cost on it. I think one of the things we're looking at is an independent auditor coming in and say, how should we determine the cost? And what is the proper cost to assign to each entity? And instead of just pulling the arbitrary percentage out of the sky and say, I think it's 35, 65, whatever, we want to come together with some kind of standard on how we separate the cost, where it's accurate and it's fair, and it will pass muster if we ever get legislative auditor. So that's one of the things that we're looking at and that we have to do, so everybody can agree to it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? We have a motion on the floor. I'd like to call for a vote. Madam Secretary, will you take a roll call?
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bell? Yes. Commissioner Lambert, Deputy
Yes.
Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Lohr?
Yes.
Commissioner Valentine?
No.
Commissioner Lambert?
No.
Commissioner Cullen?
Yes.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Yeas have it.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Executive session.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Lohr. Go into executive session. Need a roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Thompson?
He said
Commissioner
I
Thompson?
think he spoke already.
Commissioner Bell? Commissioner Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Lohr?
Yes.
Commissioner Valentine?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambert?
Yes.
Commissioner Cullen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
We'll now go into executive session. Motion passed. Close executive session. We have a motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any objection? Motion passed. We're back in meeting.
Mr. Chairman, after discussion with our attorney, I would like to move that we authorize our attorney to settle the Ragway litigation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Valentine, a second by Mr. Thompson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. I'd need a motion
Motion
to
adjourn, Mr.
adjourn.
Chairman.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Dennis Cullen. Any objection? Motion passes. Thank you very much.